Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. There go the Cash App, y'all. You can hit that Cash App. Come support your boy. All the people that do support, just want y'all to know, man, I truly appreciate your hard-earned money. You could give it to anybody in the world, but y'all support Deem, and that means a lot to me, man. There go to PayPal at Deem by any means. Y'all already know that super chat working. Listen, y'all already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. It is much, much, much appreciated, y'all. Devin, the dream. Well, it was a dream. It was all a dream, Haney. That's what I'm gonna start calling him. Devin, it was all a dream, Haney. Okay. Um, I don't know if y'all noticed, but Boxing Scene had put out an article about it's disgraceful that boxers aren't on Devin Haney's side about this whole lawsuit, the Ryan Garcia thing. And it just made me think about the hypocrisy in boxing. Nobody cried for Oscar Duarte when Oscar Duarte sat up there and said he thought Ryan Garcia was on PEDs as well against him. You know what Devin Haney fans sat up there and said? Well, he ain't popped dirty. When I was trying to tell people, how y'all know he wasn't dirty against Gervontadavis? If anybody he would have took PEDs for, it would have been against Gervontadavis. You got Devin Haney fans that actually want you to believe that Ryan Garcia was so much scared of Devin Haney than Gervontadavis that he wouldn't do it for Gervonta, but he would do it for Devin. Whether you think Ryan cheated, don't think Ryan cheated. That's not what I'm here to argue. Nobody cried for Oscar Duarte when he was saying the same thing. Y'all just totally ignored the man. And he actually got knocked out by Ryan Garcia. Actually. And Ryan ain't show no different. Then y'all say, well, he ain't pop dirty. Everybody is not dirty until they pop dirty. That don't mean that they're not dirty. What are you talking about? Prime example, Connor Ben. Who in this chat, who in the comment section believed that Connor Ben first time ever taking something was when he claimed it was eggs? Who believes that? Y'all believe Canelo, it was the horse meat? Or what about Tyson Fury and the bull nuts? Nobody's dirty until they pop dirty. Barry Bonds never popped dirty, and people still think he's dirty. So your argument goes out the window. How many baseball players has been and we've known has been taking steroids and eventually they pop dirty? That don't mean that they wasn't taking it prior to them popping dirty now, does it? It ain't one Devin Haney fan that actually believed that Connor Ben ain't been taking steroids before he popped dirty. But when it comes to Ryan Garcia, we're going to believe that anything to create your narrative. And that's the problem that I have. If you want to sit up there and say that Devin Haney deserved justice, which he's already got justice, Ryan Garcia is suspended, had to pay money back, and Devin got his loss back. Sorry, he's already been punished. But why wasn't y'all on Oscar Duarte's side when he was claiming the same thing? Then Oscar Duarte, his loss ain't go nowhere. Don't you think Oscar Duarte loss needs to be taken off as well because we don't know? But again, anything for Devin as long as it makes Devin's argument. When none of us believe that steroid users just started doing it that one time. They don't do it in baseball, not in football. Yeah, you don't know a guy dirty until he dirty. That don't mean that he wasn't using it prior. 9 times out of 10, he was using it prior to popping dirty. 9 times out of 10. And y'all all know, all you Earthmen out there know that part is true. But because Oscar Duarte is not a popular name, he don't have YouTube channels, nut hugging him and all of that. You don't care about, like, that literally went under the rug. And I made a video about that. But since Boxing Scene want to come out and make an article about this that is so egregious that people aren't on Devin Haney's side. I don't hear nobody on Oscar Duarte's side. I don't hear nobody going in and investigating the fight that happened with Oscar Duarte. Oscar Duarte was on an 11-fight knockout streak and then lost to Ryan, came back and knocked somebody else out. Oscar Duarte is a contender. He's a pretty good fighter. Actually, showed a lot of heart against Ryan Garcia. But I ain't hear nobody crying for him when Oscar Duarte believed the same exact thing happened to him. Because guess what, y'all? Ryan did the same exact thing to Oscar Duarte. Came in off weight. All of the same things that he did when it comes to Devin Haney, he did the same thing with Oscar Duarte. He just wasn't on Twitter. Ryan wasn't just on Twitter going crazy because he know nobody cared because he was fighting Oscar Duarte. But what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander, right? I guess Oscar Duarte don't deserve no justice the same way. He don't deserve his loss back because his career would look totally, totally different if that was the case. His career would look totally, totally different if they gave that man his loss back. But instead, he didn't do that. It's all good though. See, this is the problem that I have, y'all. Y'all so one-sided with y'all arguments. Y'all so one-sided with the things that y'all want to sit up there and claim that you, oh no, we want justice. He was cheated. This shouldn't be happening in boxing. But then it goes to Oscar Duarte. Y'all have zero problem with it. You ain't heard one Devin Haney fan like, Devin deserved justice and Oscar Duarte. We need to investigate that because them fights was what, 7 months apart? I'm just saying. He was on the Austrian end. He could have. It is very likely that Ryan Garcia was on PEDs. If you really believe he cheated, it is very likely that he didn't just start doing that today. It is very likely that he didn't just start doing that today, y'all. I promise you that's the case. We've seen it in football. We've seen it in baseball. We've seen it in boxing. We've seen it in wrestling. You name the sport. People don't just wake up one day and start using steroids. It don't work like that. It's a process. So if it's so egregious that boxers aren't on Devin Haney's side, I just want y'all to know that it's even more egregious that boxers ain't on Oscar Duarte's side as well. What's good for the goose got to be good for the gander. You can't have a standard for one person, but because he's not as popular, you don't hear nobody asking justice for Oscar Duarte. And that's unfortunate for Oscar Duarte because he's a pretty good fighter. But he going to just but his allegations are just going to fall to the wind. The same way when Regis was sitting up there saying that Devin cheated him, that Devin was using the weight to gain an advantage on him. You know, the same way y'all got a problem with Tank Davis moving up Lamont Roach, but had no problem with Devin Haney going up to the other weight class and fighting Regis Prograis for the WBC belt. Y'all had no problem with that, though. Y'all didn't call Regis a duck because he didn't fight Sandor Martin and chose to fight a guy at a smaller weight class. And you know what's so crazy? The other contenders at 140, they weren't injured or none of that stuff. They was willing to fight Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis literally went out of his way to fight Devin Haney because he thought that was a fight he could win. And also he knew that, he going to get a little bit of a bag for it. But when Shakur Stevenson does the same thing with Joe Cordina, it's like, and y'all know I didn't like that fight, but I'm just showing you the hypocrisy in it. I didn't like the Joe Cordina fight, but listen here. If it's okay for Regis Prograis to do it with Devin, it's okay for Shakur, I guess, to do it with Joe Cordina. I'm just saying, my guys. Y'all got to stop being some damn earthmen. That's y'all problem. Everybody know that Conor Benn is a fool-ass Eggman. Everybody know that Conor Benn is a fool-ass Eggman. It ain't nobody. Now, I dare y'all to get in this comment section and try to defend Conor Benn and say, nah, Dean, the first time he popped dirty with the eggs, that's the only time we believe Conor Benn did anything. Y'all still believe Conor Benn on that stuff. Has he popped dirty since? It's a major question, ain't it? We just watched Arthur Beterbiev. Shout out to Manager Marty, because Manager Marty brought something back in my mind that I forgot about. Y'all know that Arthur Beterbiev popped dirty too. About 8-9 months ago, a year ago. Y'all know Arthur Beterbiev popped dirty too, right? You ain't heard nobody talk about that. Ain't nobody talking about justice for Dimitri Bivol. Y'all just saying he got robbed from the fight. Nobody cared that Arthur Beterbiev popped dirty. Y'all care so much that it was Ryan because he was fighting Devin. I ain't heard one person tell me that Arthur Beterbiev is a cheater. When it was felt that they couldn't prove that Arthur Beterbiev did anything, because the only difference between Arthur Beterbiev and Ryan Garcia is Arthur Beterbiev actually followed all the rules to clear his name. Ryan Garcia didn't. There go to suspension. Ryan Garcia didn't get suspended for PEDs. Ryan Garcia got suspended for not giving the New York State Commission all of his supplements that he was taking. He tried to do it after the deadline. It's too late then. He broke the rules. There you go. There's too much funny stuff going on. Sit down for a year. So like I said, I have no problem with y'all talking about justice for Devin. I just need justice for Oscar Duarte the same way. That's all. If it's egregious for Devin, it's egregious for Oscar Duarte. Because if you think Ryan is a cheater, then that means he probably cheated Oscar Duarte as well. Y'all already know what this is though, right? Ding, by any means. And I holla at y'all.